Monochrome Chic, FW 2026/27 Classy Outfit Ideas by Prada. Introduction. Welcome to Classy Vibe Fashion, and I'm really glad you're here with me today as we step into the world of monochrome chic for FW 2026/27, inspired by Prada. I want to explore how something as simple as a single color palette can feel so powerful and luxurious. In my experience, monochrome dressing is often misunderstood as being boring, but I find it actually opens up a deeper level of creativity. Today, I'll share my personal take on why this trend feels so relevant right now and how it completely changes the way I think about elegance. The story behind monochrome chic. When I look at monochrome fashion, I think it's more than just wearing one color from head to toe. It's about building a visual story through tone, texture, and structure. In my opinion, FW 2026/27 is pushing this idea further than ever before. What I find interesting is how designers like Prada are refining simplicity into something almost architectural. It makes me wonder, why do we sometimes underestimate minimalism when it can look this powerful? Prada's minimalist elegance. Prada has always had a unique way of redefining elegance, and I feel this season is no exception. I think what sets their monochrome approach apart is the emotional restraint behind each look. Unlike most people who associate luxury with excess, Prada leans into subtlety and control. In my experience, that restraint actually makes the outfits feel more expensive and intentional. It's almost like silence in fashion, speaks louder than noise. The psychology of monochrome. What I find fascinating is how monochrome dressing influences perception. I think when we wear one color, the eye naturally focuses on shape and silhouette instead of distraction. In my experience, this creates a stronger presence without needing loud elements. It's almost psychological because people read confidence into simplicity. Have you ever noticed how a simple black or white outfit can sometimes feel more powerful than a colorful one? Why monochrome outshines color. Unlike most people who believe color is what makes fashion exciting, I actually think monochrome creates more depth. When I compare vibrant outfits to single-tone styling, I notice that color can sometimes overwhelm the personality of the wearer. In my opinion, monochrome allows the person to stand out rather than the clothes themselves. It shifts attention to posture, movement, and attitude. That contrast is something I find incredibly modern for FW 2026/27. The power of texture in single-tone styling. In my experience, texture becomes the real hero in monochrome styling. I think satin, wool, leather, and cotton all behave differently even when they share the same color. What I find interesting is how layering textures can create dimension without introducing new colors. It almost feels like building a sculpture rather than just putting on clothes. Prada often uses this idea, and I think that's what makes their looks so visually rich. Why monochrome is harder than it looks. Here's something surprising I've noticed. Monochrome outfits are not simpler to style, they are actually more demanding. I think people assume it's easy because there's only one color involved, but in reality, balance becomes critical. In my experience, even a small mismatch in tone can break the entire look. This is something I learned after many styling mistakes myself. Have you ever tried a monochrome outfit and felt like something was off without knowing why? layering within a single color palette. Layering is where monochrome fashion truly becomes expressive for me. I think FW 2026/27 is emphasizing long coats, structured blazers, and soft inner layers working together. In my opinion, layering within one color family creates rhythm rather than clutter. What I find interesting is how depth can be achieved without contrast colors at all. It feels like fashion becomes more about storytelling than decoration. The role of tailoring in monochrome fashion. Tailoring plays a huge role in how monochrome outfits are perceived. I think sharp tailoring instantly elevates even the simplest color palette. In my experience, a well-cut blazer in a single tone can outperform an overly designed outfit. Unlike casual styling, tailoring introduces discipline into fashion. That discipline, I believe, is what makes Prada's interpretation so compelling this season. Runway versus street monochrome interpretations. When I compare runway looks to street style, I notice a big difference in confidence levels. I think runway monochrome often feels controlled and artistic, while street versions are more relaxed and experimental. In my opinion, both interpretations are valid, but they communicate different moods. What I find interesting is how the same color can feel formal in one context and effortless in another. It really depends on how you carry it. My first experience with monochrome dressing. In my personal experience, the first time I tried a full monochrome outfit, I felt unusually exposed, but also strangely confident. I think that reaction comes from removing visual distractions. There's something raw about standing in one color from head to toe. It forces you to rely on presence instead of decoration. Have you ever felt more seen, just by wearing something simple? intentional accessories in minimal styling. Accessories in monochrome styling, in my opinion, need to be extremely intentional. I think even a small metallic detail or structured bag can completely shift the tone of an outfit. What I find interesting is how accessories either support or break the harmony. In my experience, less is usually more, but not always minimal to the point of disappearance. It's about finding that precise balance between presence and restraint. How footwear shapes monochrome looks. Shoes are another element I pay close attention to in monochrome outfits. I think they can either extend the line of the outfit or interrupt it completely. In my experience, matching tones creates elongation, while contrast can create focal points. Unlike casual dressing where shoes are secondary, here they become part of the main structure. That shift is something I find very powerful in modern styling. The future of monochrome FW 2026/27. Looking ahead at FW 2026/27, I think monochrome will become even more refined and technical. In my opinion, designers are moving toward precision rather than complexity. What I find interesting is how fashion is slowly rejecting excess in favor of clarity. I believe this shift reflects a broader cultural desire for calmness and control. It makes me wonder if fashion is becoming more emotional than ever, just in a quieter way. Does monochrome limit creativity? One question I keep asking myself is whether monochrome fashion limits creativity or expands it. I think the answer depends on how deeply you engage with it. In my experience, limitations often force better decisions rather than restricting them. What do you think? Does wearing one color inspire you or hold you back? I'd genuinely love to know your perspective on this. mistakes in monochrome styling. A common mistake I often see is people choosing the wrong shade variations within monochrome looks. I think even slight tonal mismatches can disrupt harmony. In my experience, this is where many outfits lose their elegance. Unlike what people assume, monochrome requires a very trained eye. It's not just about picking a color, but about understanding its depth. The emotional effect of monochrome outfits. Emotionally, I think monochrome outfits create a sense of calm confidence. In my opinion, there's something grounding about removing visual chaos. What I find interesting is how people often respond differently to you when you wear simpler palettes. In my experience, it changes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. That internal shift is what makes it so powerful. Sustainability through monochrome wardrobes. I also think sustainability plays a quiet role in monochrome fashion trends. In my opinion, building a wardrobe around fewer colors naturally encourages reusability. In my experience, it becomes easier to mix and match pieces without constant consumption. What I find interesting is how simplicity often leads to more conscious choices. It feels like fashion and responsibility can actually align here. Monochrome as a reflection of identity. When I reflect on everything, I think monochrome dressing is less about rules and more about awareness. In my experience, it teaches you to see fashion in layers rather than surface decoration. What I find interesting is how your perception of style changes after practicing it for a while. It becomes less about trends and more about identity. That evolution is something I personally value a lot. As I close this discussion on Monochrome Chic FW 2026/27 inspired by Prada, I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what simplicity can express. I think this trend will continue shaping how we define elegance in the coming seasons. What do you think your personal style says about you when stripped down to one color? If you enjoyed this exploration, I'd love for you to subscribe to Classy Vibe Fashion and join me for more deep dives into style and meaning.